Mediterranean to help get more aid into Gaza. So let's get some reaction to that. Joining me now is Ahmad Bostan, who's Director of Communications at the Penny Appeal. Very good morning to you. Thanks so much for talking to us today. So Lord Cameron announcing that a Royal Navy ship will be deployed to try to get more aid into Gaza, and an effort to set up a humanitarian maritime corridor. What's your reaction to that announcement?
A very good morning, Anna. We need to look at the reality inside Gaza at the moment. As we speak, we don't have tens, but hundreds of children that are suffering from acute malnutrition, literally crying out in pain on the floors of what remains of the hospitals of Gaza. And we have a reality whereby children such as Noura Mohammed, who's a young girl in Gaza right now who suffers from lung and limb fibrosis, who cannot wake up, who cannot get up, walk, or talk because of the severe acute malnutrition that she is enduring due to the lack of food, due to the lack of supplies in Gaza. So while every call and every attempt to get aid into Gaza is desperately needed and hugely welcome, it is a very, very disastrous and heart-wrenching situation that we are in, where 6 months later, we are still, as humanitarians, calling for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire because we do not yet have the safe and secure corridors to be able to deliver humanitarian aid. And while this particular vessel that's going over is going by the route that it is, the normal way, the conventional way of delivering aid is simply not possible because of the restrictions that have been put in place. It literally is, and there's no other way to describe it, a man-made famine that we are literally seeing live streamed in front of the entire world. And we as humanitarians are just deeply concerned that whatever is being done is too little too late for those who are suffering in Gaza.
Just a couple of days ago, Israel did announce that it would reopen new aid routes into Gaza. Does that bring you hope that the situation will improve?
It really doesn't, I'm afraid, because we've seen situations where the crossings have been opened in the past. The Rafah border crossing was opened a few months ago. We were promised that hundreds of trucks would go in every single day, and it's been a fraction of that amount. We now have, as we speak, Anna, 1,240 trucks that over the next 48 hours will be trying to get into Gaza via Al Arish. But we are really worried that nowhere near that number will be able to get over via existing routes. You've seen Gate 96 that's been opened up a few weeks ago, but a similar story, singular digits in terms of the amount of trucks going over, a hugely problematic and bureaucratic process that we have to go through. Everything from the approval of drivers, which is nowhere near sufficient. We need at least 80 drivers a day to be approved to go into Gaza, to the trucks and supplies themselves. And even empty trucks that are trying to get out of Gaza have to wait hugely long periods of time in order to get approval. It really is a crisis beyond compare, and a crisis that needs to be addressed and needs to be addressed now.
The diplomatic pressure appears to be increasing on Israel. The US is toughening its line. We've heard Lord Cameron today talking about Britain's support for Israel being not unconditional. That's been seen as a strengthening of the language from Britain as well. Do you think that political pressure can make a difference?
We need to get to that space of an immediate humanitarian ceasefire. All calls from all corners around the cessation of attacks and bombardment are welcomed by humanitarians. We want to be in a position where we are able to safely and securely deliver aid to people who are suffering. We know that not only have 33,000 people lost their lives, 23,000 of whom are actually women and children, but over 196 aid workers have lost their lives, 169 of whom are actually Palestinian themselves, and they shouldn't be forgotten either. So calls and announcements are very important. I don't dismiss the significance of them, but I'm afraid they're a small comfort to the mothers who can't feed their children right now because they themselves are malnourished, and to the mothers in Gaza who are literally watching their children wither away. It really is something that I certainly, in all of my years of humanitarian work, can say never thought I would witness in my lifetime.
Well, Ahmad Bostan, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you very much.